Hello everyone, Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo here for another Star Citizen. I don't know if we're going to call this state of the game. You know, I'm going to sound a little bit critical of the game today, and I'm not be. Everything that I am talking about today is a suggestion that CIG can take and nothing more. So I've been a little bit down and out lately, mostly because of that wonderful decision by CIG to not allow their employees to do recurring shows anymore, which killed Ben's Day. And of course their inability to actually come up with a plan quickly for how to get people on the show, you know, how to actually be able to touch base with people at CIG, to actually be able to interview them. That's been frustrating. Alright, so I might sound like I'm a little bit bitter right now. I'm not. I'm frustrated, and I'm a little bit down and out. You know, I love the game. I want to talk about it. I want to bring people information, not just regurgitate the issues, not just regurgitate the information that you could just go to Spectrum and read about, that you could just watch ATV or any one of the other shows. I want to actually give you real content, real things that are going on. So today I figured I'd talk a little bit about MFDs and the Pip-Boy. Oh, did I call it a Pip-Boy? It's a Moby-Glass. It's a Pip-Boy. It's a Moby-Glass. Same exact freaking thing, but much prettier and useful. Well, no, they were both useful. I think the Pip-Boy was pretty useful in Fallout 4. I would say they both have their uses. I love the Moby-Glass. I just want to talk a little bit about Moby-Glass, MFDs, and offer some suggestions. So to do this, we're going to take out the #1 fighter for
your ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
I don't know if it's actually the #1 fighter. I think some of you will be a little bit upset with that. I think some of you might like the Hornet or the Gladius or even the Mustang Delta better, but we're getting shit frame rate today, so we might just do a reboot. But I don't think we need to fly to actually do anything about anything right now. This is usually an indication that the server's about ready to crash, so we might have enough time to do what I want to talk about. I'm just going to go out here and take a look. Alright. Yeah, I know it was over here. I thought I heard something in that direction, but you're not supposed to hear. Alright, so we're coming out to the launch pad, and we're going to look at the wonderful, the beautiful, the amazing, the gorgeous, the out-of-this-world, sitting on its ass. Oh boy, I wonder if we're going to be able to get in here. Let's take a look. Yeah, we could get in. What the hell was that? Alright, so we're getting up there. Alrighty then, so we are inside of the Saber. Alright, here's my issue. Okay? So maybe, just maybe, I'm a little premature with these suggestions. Maybe I am. Any of the newer aircraft today inside of the... That just doesn't sound right. Inside of the United States Air Force Arsenal has 2 MFDs. We have 4 here, plus this center console, which I'm wondering what it's going to be used for in the future. It looks almost like a radio, so I have no idea what they're going to be using that for. But as I look around the aircraft, the spacecraft, it's very 1950s, 60s-esque. And I understand why CIG is trying to do that. They're trying to make a game that's fun to play. And games that are fun to play are games that you can get up close and personal and take out your enemy with. If we were actually going to have a real space simulator, you would be fighting each other at distances that you'd need a telescope to see the other ship. But in this situation, we get to fly right up on the tail of our adversary and smoke his ass. And, you know, have some fun. But the MFDs just don't make sense to me. I mean, first off, they're low res, and they're hard to see. You don't have a button that lets you see down directly. I guess you need something more like track IR to be able to use it. I've tried to set up hats to look up and down on my different joysticks, and I haven't been successful in being able to use my hats to look up and down, but still, there's no real information on these placeholders yet. One of the things that gets me is that when I'm going to the star map, here I am using something that is right here on my arm. I do find this to be a little bit backward, but at least the star map is cool and it works in this situation. So what I think CIG should do here, I really do think they have the MFD things wrong. I think that they're going down a pathway of making things very difficult for you to use in combat situations. But the game's not all about combat. People are going to be moving cargo. People are going to be salvaging, exploring. People are going to be running farms in space and have hospital ships and passenger liners and all sorts of things. But you still need MFDs that actually make sense. For me to actually have to go and have all these different MFDs open and have to come in here, move my mouse over, click on menu, and then go over to comms and then click on the... That's way too many mouse clicks to do. Now, we're not going to have any kind of realistic spaceflight going on. This is just a fun game. But I think all those different menus, God, it's like trying to use Microsoft Word and find a place to put clip art in your paper. It's rather hectic. So what I want to do is I want to show you just what it's like inside of a light general aviation aircraft, specifically a Cessna 172 with a G1000. And that is something that I think they should look at. Look at where general aviation aircraft are going today. Look at where the F-35 is with helmet-mounted HUDs or helmet displays with move your head, look at a target, and you still see the information about the target over there. That's the way mobiGlas should work. It should work with your visor. It should work with a pair of glasses. It should work as a hologram in the absence of glasses, but the minute I put my helmet on, I should have other features. True, they're still working things out at CIG, but I really just think this is one of the things that they may have missed at, especially since we're 925 years in the future. Alright, let's go take a look at that Cessna and see exactly what the Cessna has to offer us with the G1000 system from Garmin. Now, to say I'm into airplanes is an understatement. I've been following military and general aviation all my life. This here is a Cessna 172 with Laminar Research's rendition of a Garmin G1000. Now, I'm sure they do not have the license to put Garmin's name on it, but they have pretty much captured the feel and the capabilities of the G1000 system that can be put into general aviation aircraft. And this is by no means as capable as some of the MFDs that are going to be in the F-35, F-22, the Eurofighter, the Rafale, and the new Russian jets, and Chinese jets for that fact. The MFD is very clear here. You have one on the left, which has your HSI, all your communications, okay, that's the attitude indicator. You have your altitude and your speed, a little mini map. Everything's there in one place. I don't need to go to multiple MFDs in a cockpit to see it. I could look at one device and see everything. On the other side, when we get over there, is our map, okay? It's our GPS. And there's a lot of information here also. All of our engine instruments. Again, when we're looking over here, we will see communication data. We will also be able to flight plan over here. This is something that has been brought into aviation because it lessens, lightens, limits, or simplifies the pilot's workload, and that is something that always needs to be done. When we're playing a game, it's got to be fun, and sometimes lots of dials and buttons and switches and gauges and instruments. You know, I feel like I'm in Airplane 2 with William Shatner right now, but lots of those give a little bit more of a feeling of immersion. I've talked to some of the pilots. I live in Georgia, and they did make the F-22 here while it was being made, and possibly will be made again underneath President, I can't say his name, under President Trump. But they said that the first time they sat inside of an F-22, these are pilots that were in the test pilot program, the ones that would fly them from here out to the military. They said it was like sitting into a video game. And that's the feeling that I think we need to capture inside of MFDs, inside of Star Citizen. Now, this is just one inside of a 2017 Cessna 172. Could you imagine what the F-35 will have? I don't have any simulators that actually are able to recreate the MFDs inside of the F-35, but they are so integrated into the pilot and the pilot's helmet sight system that it makes that pilot's workload a hell of a lot easier when he's having to maintain situational awareness against enemy aircraft, enemy air defenses, and targets both in the air and on the ground, and friendlies. So it is pretty awesome what you could do in an aircraft today. What I was going to do now is just take a little mini flight and show off how I can just get more information as I'm flying. But what I want to say is that this is a very limited product. There are already newer products, the G3000 for instance, and the Skyview systems and others. They actually have things inside of it called synthetic vision. As soon as you land, you have something that comes up called Safe Taxi. These are all features that you can get with Garmin Pilot or ForeFlight, which you could use in the cockpit, but they are making the pilot's workload even easier. I think that I am being a little bit eccentric. I don't know. I'm being a little bit demanding here, but I think the MFDs inside of Star Citizen need to be corrected or maybe just implemented down the road to be something more like what you have in the 21st century. Now, as we move back into a Freelancer, we can see that they have things a little bit better situated because my heads-up display, again, this is a heads-up display that we've been seeing in aircraft since the 1960s. It's not really that updated. Today, it's much more descriptive with targets being followed, kind of like it is now, but the targets are being followed by the helmet, not by the system itself. I'm not sure how in the world CIG would pull that off. But here, what I can tell you is that I'm pretty impressed with the heads-up display, even though it seems to be a little bit older model. The MFDs, though, I know that they're working on it. I know that they're working on it and that they're going to make them better. And I know that by the time they come out, we're going to be like, wow. But right now, they're pretty useless. I could have that same information depicted on the screen. I say just give us a couple of major MFDs that have everything on it. I could see that in a full RGB, full color. That's what I want, full color, not these monochrome see-through displays that really show limited amount of information. How much information do you really need to see in combat? I mean, that's the question. In a game like this, it's a game. You're just pointing the nose at it, getting the pipper on the target, and pulling the trigger. So it's really not that hard. But I'm thinking about in the future when we're having major battles against huge capital ships, and I'm trying to target specific parts of the ship. And I still see that this might work. So maybe, just maybe, I'm wrong. But I don't feel like I am. I feel like 1,000 years in the future, sorry, 925, that the HUD technology, the MFD technology, is at least what we have today. But all in all, I think that CIG is doing a great job, and I need to just see where they go over the next 3 updates that are planned for 2018. I'm very excited about female models coming out at the end of the year. I always thought they would be out sooner because that's what they said. But we've learned over the years of development, don't listen to what CIG says, watch what they do. They say a lot, and when they do, they sometimes deliver. And 3.0, although it has its major flaws, is a huge step forward for them in showing us what they hope will be the best damn space simulator ever. It's also what I hope. Can't wait to see what 3.1 brings us, but in the meantime, I'll be doing little videos like this, and hopefully, if CIG gets their act together and brings back the ability to grab guests easily, I can start doing my interview shows again too. But until they actually make it easier for those of us that are in the community to get guests on the show, I guess I'm going to have to do what I like best. Play the game and talk about it. Until my next show, you all be safe out there, and I will talk to you soon. Oh, P.S. I know it's been a while since I've been doing shows, and I'm not going to give you an excuse. Sometimes you just need to step back. And yes, I was affected emotionally and belief-wise by the pulling of my Wednesday show. And yes, that was the major reason I haven't been doing shows and have not been around the community. And in fact, why I stopped playing the game for a while. But I stepped up, gathered my emotions, played the game, and decided, you know what, I can be upset, pissed off, and begrudging, I guess that would be a word, instead of being frustrated, instead of being negative about something that I want to happen regardless of how I was treated. I'm back and I'm doing these shows. And I apologize to those of you that support me for having to deal with me not being around, but those days are over of me neglecting you, and my shows will be coming out regularly once more. Thank you very much for all my supporters on Patreon, patreon.com/Batgirl. You make this possible, and you actually give me the drive to come back every day and play the game. And now, 2, 3, 4 times a week, start doing videos again. You all have a great day. You all have a great weekend, and I will be back with another show in just a bit.